temperamentally suited to the strategy, like Vance and Rubio and others have tried it on with varying degrees of fit at different times.
I feel like I might be playing too much or favoring my own strengths here, so I could be biased in my own direction. But I feel like it's not just about wanting more negative attention. It's about when you've captured the attention for yourself, you have to be able to play off of it, right? So like being witty and having snappy comebacks and being able to like verbally outperform, you know, your interlocutor or whoever you're having a debate with or back and forth with. These are really important things, I think.
Reasonable Destiny made a rare appearance on this stream out here. Yes, we all know Destiny sucks. I am no fan of Destiny. He sounds like a horrible person. However, I've always heard that Destiny was one of the reasonable lefties. And even though I never saw it, but judging from Destiny the last year or two or for however so long, yeah, I would have to press X to doubt. However, it seems like Reasonable Destiny made an appearance today. I know a lot of people are going to speculate in the comments why he may be more reasonable, and that's for you to do. I'm not going to speculate here. But let's see what Destiny has to say about the Ezra Klein show, about the Democrats losing because they didn't want attention enough. They didn't want attention that badly, and that's why they lost. Doesn't sound like a big brain take, but let's see what they have to say.
Is the key insight, the key transformational insight of Donald Trump to politics.
J6 was hugely unpopular, no? Yeah, I think J6 was actually unpopular, yeah. But it's because if they would have won, though, it would have been mega popular. But it was largely eroded over the years and people cared less when he was still able to play that attention game, so.
Thanks. So generally in politics, you want to get people's attention for the project of persuading them. Friends, Roman countrymen, lend me your ears, Mark Anthony says, before he proceeds to attempt to persuade them, right? What Trump figured out is that in the attention age, in this sort of war of all against all, actually just getting attention matters more than whatever comes after it. And one way, reliably, to get people's attention is negative attention. Like, if you insult people, act outrageously, I mean, this is literally, there was a commercial model for this.
You just got to be so careful how you phrase this. And maybe they'll get into this, but like, you're calling it negative attention, but it's not negative. It's epic and it's hilarious. And Bannon did a good job at like shaping Trump's activities and the way that he would orient himself, you know, towards this attention economy in a very smart way. When you say, oh, he's being negative by calling people names and stuff, that's not negative to his fan base. That's epic and hilarious. It's not negative, right? But maybe they'll flesh that out more.
This, which is shock.
Well, it was epic and hilarious is because of who he was insulting. He was insulting the people that we didn't like.
80s and 90s that we grew up with, right? Like, they were in a competitive attentional marketplace in local places. Shock jocks said outrageous things. They weren't trying to get someone to vote for them. They just wanted you to know that they were running the morning zoo. You know?
I don't know how to insert into the discourse a strong enough point that Joe Rogan is much better than Howard Stern was.
Yes, it's true.
Like, nobody quite wants to admit this because now Howard Stern has become this lovable uncle who, you know, for liberal.
Like, I don't know if I agree with that. Joe Rogan is better than what Howard Stern was. Like, the question is like, what's better? What's better, a crackhead or like, what's better, a crackhead and a heroin fiend or like an alcoholic? Like which one is better there? It's like, well, probably the alcoholic, I would imagine, right? But it's like, okay, well, what's better? Or I guess what's worse, I guess, right? Like, so the alcoholic's probably better than the crackhead heroin fiend, right? But like, okay, well, now what's better? The crackhead heroin fiend who's a homeless dude or a janitor, or the alcoholic that's like a neurosurgeon? Well, okay, fuck. Well, now like probably the alcoholic is worse because I expect this guy to do neurosurgery. It's not good that the janitor guy is like heroin and crack addicted, but he's just a janitor, right? Howard Stern was probably worse in terms of morality and like crazy shit or whatever, maybe, than Joe Rogan. But I feel like this is emotionally vibed because I was never a big Howard Stern content consumer. I think Howard Stern was never really seen as like serious political commentary. It was like a joke. He was literally, I don't know if the term shock jock was invented for Howard Stern, but he had like porn stars and they did crazy shit. That was what Howard Stern was. And I think that was his lane. Joe Rogan is seen as a serious source of political news and information in the United States. Like, I don't know. And again, maybe Gen Xers did this and I just never heard this. But like, I don't think people were saying like, oh, I get my news from Howard Stern. They might say from Jon Stewart, but from Howard Stern?
Destiny is somewhat right on that. Yes, no one went and got their news from Howard Stern. But I don't think anyone got their news from Joe Rogan either. But because Joe Rogan said some things that wasn't like wasn't mainstream, you know, because Joe Rogan, like, he just says like what he thinks, whether it's right or not, whether it's accurate or not. He just says what he thinks and he questions it, and that's what people appreciate. But I don't know if anyone gets their news from Joe Rogan.
Rogan?
Stern was.
Yes, it's true.
Like, nobody quite wants to admit this because now Howard Stern has become this lovable uncle who, you know, for liberals, who has Hillary Clinton on his show, and I think Kamala Harris went on his show. But I think Rogan is the inheritor of Stern, basically. And, you know, Rogan has become much more right-wing in the past couple of years. But compared to what Stern was, Rogan is just smarter and preferable.
I think that's probably true. But what I find crazy...
If Rogan just did an entertainment show that people just watch to laugh at, sure. But Rogan is like platforming, like Rogan is arguably one of the largest instigators of the new anti-vax, anti-med feelings in the United States. Maybe it'll proliferate to the world right now. Like, he was platforming all the would anybody know who Dr. Robert Malone was without Rogan platforming him? All of the crazy ivermectin shit that he also like accelerated into orbit. And yeah, I don't know, man.
Crazy is the shock jock model has now become a successful model in politics.
Okay, but now I think we need to have like a moment of caution, because there's a tendency right now, because Donald Trump won the popular vote by like 1.5 percentage points, which is a terrible win in like the annals of American politics, right? And yet there's just like no doubt that Trump and his tendency right now, because Donald Trump won the popular vote by like 1.5 percentage points.
I thought it was within a point. Am I crazy? Popular vote. Maybe this is a really old show. 2024. Sorry. Presidential election. Wikipedia. Fuck you. Somebody said 1.4%. Was it that much? Oh, okay, it was 1.5 points. 49.8 to 48.3.
It's a terrible win in like the annals of American politics, right? And yet there's just like no doubt that Trump and his broad cultural side.
These dudes don't mean capital G good. They mean good in the attention paradigm. I don't know. It sounded like they were saying Rogan was a bit morally better than Howard Stern. That was the vibe that I got from that. Did I misunderstand? That's what it sounded like they were saying. No, they weren't.
All right. You know, while he's clickety clacking away, I just want to compare Destiny talking about how Joe Rogan's like anti-vax and stuff. Compare that to when people would get outraged about Howard Stern. People used to say about Howard Stern, well, like he has like porn, he has corn stars and strippers on his show. He's misogynist toward women. Look how he treats them, and you know he is influencing misogyny here in America and stuff. And Destiny doesn't sound too different from that when he's saying, oh, look, Joe Rogan, he pushes anti-vax conspiracies and all these things. He's pushing this anti-vax influence here in America. Like, Destiny doesn't sound any different than when people would flip out over Howard Stern. At the end of the day, Joe Rogan's just a podcast. And I agree. And firstly, in my opinion, I think it's ridiculous when both sides treat the Joe Rogan podcast like it's some huge... You know, like when people got mad at Joe Rogan when he didn't endorse Donald Trump, I was like, well, who cares? I mean, yeah, it's stupid that he doesn't endorse Donald Trump, but I'm not going to be angry about it. Donald Trump doesn't need Joe Rogan's endorsement to win. Like, I think you're putting much more importance on the Joe Rogan podcast than it actually is from both sides.
I think so. Wait, fuck, let me re-listen. Sorry, hold on.
In the attention age, in this sort of war of all against all, actually just getting attention matters more than whatever comes after it. And one way, reliably, to get people's attention is negative attention. Like, if you insult people, act outrageously, I mean, this is literally, there was a commercial model for this, which is shock jocks of the 1980s and 90s that we grew up with, right? Like, they were in a competitive attentional marketplace in local places. Shock jocks said outrageous things. They weren't trying to get someone to vote for them. They just wanted you to know that they were running the morning zoo. You know?
I don't know how to insert into the discourse a strong enough point that Joe Rogan is much better than Howard Stern was.
Yes, it's true.
Like, nobody quite wants to admit this because now Howard Stern has become this lovable uncle who, you know, for liberals, who has Hillary Clinton on his show, and I think Kamala Harris went on his show. But I think Rogan is the inheritor of Stern, basically.
I guess if they just mean he's just better at getting people's attention, then why would people just don't want to admit that because now he's more lovable? I guess that could be. That's just a weird comparison. I can't tell actually It sounds like they're saying Rogan might be better getting attention. I don't even know if that's true, though. Wasn't Howard Stern incredibly popular? I don't know, actually. It's not that important. But.
And, Rogan has become much more right-wing in the past couple of years. But compared to what Stern was, Rogan is just smarter and preferable.
Well, no. They are saying, no, hold on. My original interpretation was correct. Now they're saying because Rogan's right-wing, yeah. So they are saying that Rogan is better than Stern. But Stern was in his lane, I think. Right
I think that's probably true. But what I find crazy is the shock jock model has now become a successful model in politics.
Okay, but now I think we need to have a moment of caution, because there's a tendency right now, because Donald Trump won the popular vote by 1.5 percentage points, which is a terrible win in the annals of American politics, right?
Man, it's insane to me how some people try to take this win away from Trump constantly try to take it away. Like in 2016 when he won, oh, well, he won the electoral vote, but he didn't win the popular vote. Oh, he doesn't have much influence because in 2022, all of his picks didn't win. And then in 2024, he wins the electoral. He wins the popular vote. He won all swing states. He won back the Senate. It was a big win. But now it's still like, well, he only won by this much. Not really. It's a terrible win. Like, seriously, Donald Trump could win 100% of the votes. And they would say, oh, yeah, but he didn't win 101% of the votes. Like, they always try to take that away from him, and I just don't understand why they do that. What do you guys think they do that? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button if you're enjoying so far. Let's continue.
No doubt that Trump and his broad cultural side have won some kind of cultural and attentional victory that is much bigger in its feeling than the actual electoral victory. They want, so some of these things both feel true. Like, I'm not sure this works as well in politics, but in terms of changing the culture, like, his win has changed the culture immediately in a way that I would not have foreseen and does not reflect. Like, if you just told somebody the election results, I don't think they would feel the vibe shift.
So I agree with that, and I want to sort of take those in two parts, because I think the politics is actually worth taking a second with. Mark Robinson ran for governor of North Carolina. He was already elected as statewide as a lieutenant governor, said lots of outrageous things all the time. He was discovered to be, almost certainly, I think he denies it, but it seems to me pretty plausible, a commenter on the Nude Africa site where he said all sorts of wildly offensive things, including, I am a black Nazi. Robinson lost that race in North Carolina, a state Trump carried. It's probably like a +1 or 2 Republican state at national level. It didn't work for him. Like, there was a lot of attention market. Kari Lake courted negative attention, lost 2 successive statewide races. Doug Mastriano.
This is a huge issue that I don't know if Trump is going to be able to overcome. Or actually, no, Trump did not overcome this. I think Trump arguably failed this in the last election in 2024. I think Trump tends to overperform his ticket pretty significantly. And I think that people view that as a success of Trump, but I think it's actually one of his weaknesses. Trump only works because of the attention that he commands, not because of any coherent political ideology, or not because of him being able to sell some great governmental ideas. It's just because he's like a living, breathing fucking meme on Twitter, which is why I think the special elections always do poorly. It was why 2022 went so poorly for Republicans, and the down ballot stuff just doesn't work as well. I think that I think that Trump tends to overperform his ticket, not because he's like so good, but in a way it is, but it's also because he just doesn't bring his party up with him. He's like a one-man show, I guess. He doesn't like a competition, basically.
I could go down the list. So there's something really fascinating.
J.D. Vance underperformed in Ohio in his Senate considerably.
So there is something happening where it has not proven to be a replicable strategy. That the old logic that we were just talking about the Democrats having and being outdated still does hold in a lot of races. That said, in terms of influence, I think negative attention is incredibly effective. And I think you're seeing this shock jock. You can call it shock jock. You can just call it trolling politics. I mean, it is trolling politics. The idea of trolling, and the reason that trolling exists, is it's easier to get negative attention than positive attention. It creates a conundrum for the other side, which is, do you ignore them while they say horrible stuff, or do you engage them and give them what they want? And I think this kind of trolling politics, which was really Donald Trump's insight, is the most transformational part of politics now, and you're 100% correct.
His one folly that he is working on overcoming, all of his nominees are trolls now too. Yeah, but I don't think anybody is as funny as Trump was. And I won't say is, because the Trump that got elected in 2024 would have never won in 2016. Nobody would talk about him. He lost, I don't know if he just got old or spiteful or what, but he lost a lot of that energy. But I don't know if any of the sycophants or people revolving around, like people tried to duplicate it a little. I feel like Vivek was the most on the nose, like wannabe Trump guy, but nobody just had the same energy or whatever, I think, yeah.
Correct.
Well, quite simply, there's only one Donald Trump. There is only one Donald Trump. It's just as simple as that.
Media management around Democrats is so much risk aversion. If the choice is negative attention or no attention, we take no attention every time. And that is the wrong choice.
You can frame this.
What is this show? Ezra Klein show? I don't know who Ezra Klein is. I have no idea what his show is. This seems just like a coping session about why Democrats lost, and now it just seems like, well, they're not good at getting attention. Like, what the heck are you talking about? They choose negative attention, but between negative attention and no attention, they choose no attention all the time. What world is this dude living in? No, they choose no attention. It's a joke. It's like, who was it? Michelle Obama was like, or is it Hillary Clinton or Michelle Obama who said, when they go low, we go high. It's like, no, you don't. It's a joke to believe that the Democrats go high when we go low. No, they don't. They're the ones who go low, and we're the ones that have to go high usually. And now now this dude right here is trying to say, oh, the Democrats choose no attention versus negative attention. In what freaking universe?
Strategy. And clearly people who are not temperamentally suited to the strategy, like Vance and Rubio and others, have tried it on with varying degrees of fit at different times.
I feel like I might be playing too much or favoring my own strengths here, so I could be biased in my own direction. But I feel like it's not just about wanting more negative attention. It's about when you've captured the attention for yourself, you have to be able to play off of it, right? So like being witty and having snappy comebacks and being able to like verbally outperform your interlocutor or whoever you're having a debate with or back and forth with. These are really important things, I think. And it's not just enough to get negative attention. You got to be able to do something with it. This is one of the big mind fucks I had with Mark Gudgel when my alma mater wrote that hit piece on me. I figured that this is a good moment because now we finally have attention and Mark Gudgel can run with it. And then he freaked the fuck out. He's like, wait, I can't handle negative attention. I'm phrasing that negative on his part. He never dealt with anything like that before, so I don't blame him necessarily. But I was like, wait, you have to capitalize on this now, not retreat. What the fuck? You need attention, no?
Destiny's alma mater wrote a hit piece about him. Even the school he went to doesn't like him. That's pretty freaking funny. I mean, I don't blame them. Based school right there.
And Anthony Weiner could do it, but he had his issues. Maybe Gavin Newsom can do it. I don't know if I've seen him as much. Biden had a couple of witty or like snapbacks on the 2020 debates. I don't know who else. The Democrats just don't have those people. I don't know why. Because they're so unfucking funny. They're too fucking soy, maybe. I don't know.
But I think it's better to frame it in ways of temperament. I mean, you write in the book, compliments roll off your back. Criticism stays with you for days. But it's not true for everybody, right? There's a certain personality type that is okay with that negative charge. It is okay being hated by many to be loved by some. A lot of people would not have been willing to absorb the personal polarization Musk has decided to absorb to become as significant as he is. Trump is very similar, right? I think most people take the trait of being thought fairly well of by a larger number of people, even if...
Oh, man. Ezra Klein is a big guy who spent some time in the public eye. So it's not like he's speaking without experience here. But just from my own personal, because I super disagree with this, I don't think anybody enjoys negative attention like that. And I think that a lot of these people, like when you look at Elon Musk as somebody, oh, he can endure negative attention. That's a side effect of him desperately chasing positive attention. A guy who's willing to jump around on stage like that, making the letter X with his body and calling himself Dark MAGA and doing all that cringe shit that he is, this is not a guy that's okay with negative attention. This is a guy that's desperately looking for love, I think. I disagree with this take here, but...
Well, right. I think most people take the trait of being...
I actually agree with Destiny on that point. I don't think Elon Musk likes negative attention at all. If he did, he wouldn't have been started taking away people's monetization abilities on X when they disagreed with him on the H-1B1 visa situation. So I actually do agree with Destiny on that. Elon Musk, I don't think, is someone that can handle negative attention.
Thought fairly well of by a larger number of people, even if not thought that much of by them, in general, rather than absolutely hated by half the country to be quite loved by the other half in order to really dominate the attentional sphere. And I think that's something in people. And I guess what I'm asking you is politics now and attention select for a kind of attentional sociopath?
I think it does. I mean, I think it does select for a kind of attentional sociopath. I would push back a little bit in this respect, though. I don't know how much of the negative feedback gets to Donald Trump and Musk. Like, I do think they have probably created...
But he's sitting there watching MSNBC and getting mad at it, or CNN.
Yes,
he's a guy who actually seeks out stuff to make him angry.
Yes, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I think it bothers him and Musk too. I guess I just don't buy that that it rolls off their backs. I mean, they're kind of obsessed with it also.
True. Yes. Yes.
So that fixation.
He should push harder on that. They are very obsessed. Like Trump, you can tell. Like whoever's nice to Trump, like Trump gave that interview to Bloomberg, and now he's like shitting all over them. Wait, was it Bloomberg or the Wall Street? No, it was Bloomberg, right? And now he says like, I think he was shitting on Bloomberg, right? He was shitting on the Wall Street Journal. He did that in 2 different truths we read today. Like, if somebody gives him bad coverage, he shits on him. When they give him good coverage, he's nice to him. Like, Trump is very responsive to stuff like that. But when you're responsive to how people treat you like that, you're also training them to treat you a certain way too. Be nice to me, and I'll be nice to you. Be mean to me, and I'm going to put your name in all of my tweets, and I'm either going to threaten to kill you, threaten to arrest you, or just shit on you constantly until you lose all your business.
And is
Destiny actually making some good points here, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Rare good takes from Destiny. This I guess is the reasonable liberal Destiny that I've heard so much about throughout the years. When everyone's like, "Oh, he's one of the reasonable lefties," I was like, "Oh, this must be the reasonable Destiny." I guess he didn't take his. Whenever I talk about Destiny's like swiveling jaw, I get a ton of comments saying about how he's on this drug or that drug. Maybe he's just not on whatever drug he's allegedly on while filming this. It's caused him to have more clarity here and to be more reasonable. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he's showing clarity here in this instance? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Going back to his point, though, yeah, no one likes negative attention. And there's a lot of people, even big stars, way more bigger than I am, who say don't read the comments, and it's for that reason. But yes, even Donald Trump, and I think Destiny is right here about the training people, like, oh, you compliment me, I'll compliment you back. You disparage me, I'll disparage you back. I do think that is part of a Trump strategy, which, by the way, I'm not hating on, by the way.
it's differently.
It at least doesn't turn them back, right?
It doesn't turn
They
them
don't
back.
recede from the...
The idea that they're sort of zen-like, well, people are just going to hate. Like, that's not what's going on psychologically.
Fair enough.
So, yes, I worry, actually, that it now selects for a kind of sociopathic disposition. Or just a very, broken and compulsive one. Because, I know, just speaking for myself, I have the show-off demon in myself, and I've, from the time I was very young, wanted people to pay attention to me. I don't love that part of me. I don't think that's, the best part of me. I think that my relationship to it is a little fraught and intentionally managed. And I don't think that, I would be a better person if I let that beast run loose. And I worry that the incentives are to basically do that, both for everyone individually, in politics and culture everywhere, and also in the kind of collective public sphere. Let me say the thing that I think is the deepest problem here. I think fundamentally the most competitive attentional regimes select for the parts of people
That you would never want to be leading countries.
that are, in the aggregate and over time, kind of the most reactionary.
Yeah.
That's the deeper problem.
The types of people that obsess over this type of attention, the types of people that want to be loved by everybody and to constantly be in everybody's mind they're not good people for leading companies, or for sometimes you have to tank on popularity. Sometimes you have to do things that are the most popular. Sometimes you have to act in a way that just isn't going to net you the most amount of favorable attention at all points in time. You don't want a guy who's looking for applause to be leading your country or your company.
Worry about tabloid coverage of crime. Tabloid coverage from crime, which literally goes back to Benjamin Day's New York Sun. He was the first New York newspaper to have a court reporter who went to the court and said, wrote down what he heard, right? Tabloid coverage of crime 100% has an ideological valence that is conservative, reactionary. So I think generally competitive attention markets select for negativity. They select for all kinds of things that are generally lead people towards their sort of most reactionary selves. And then the negativity bias of competitive attentional markets also means it's really hard for incumbents.
We've been, I think, talking about attention mostly in terms of social media here. Yeah. And I want to talk about another way that attentions and the way we think about stories changed in this period, which is reality television, which is the other side of this that Trump comes out of. I mean, I understand Trump is sort of made by Twitter at that time, cable news at that time, and reality television. Joe Rogan weirdly also comes out of reality television. But one thing that has felt true to me about Trump's second term, much more than the first, is it feels like reality television. It is all these secondary characters with their own subplots and their own arcs, and what's going to happen with Pete Hegseth, and over here's RK Jr. And
it's so crazy. And this is the one, I can never do psychedelics again. Is it it feels like we've been training for this all of our lives. It feels like what they're describing sounds like streams, right? There are side characters. You've got orbiters. You've got arcs. Remember the McCarthy arc? Do you remember the drama in the House when we lost our majority speaker seat? Do you remember it's like reality TV, I guess. Maybe that was it. Maybe streaming mapped onto reality TV in a way that was closer than I realized. I never really watched much reality TV, so.
But one thing that has felt true.
I mean, the thing about that is that we've got more people interested in politics more than ever before. It has kind of become more like reality TV.
Trump's second term, much more than the first, is it feels like reality television. It is all these secondary characters with their own subplots and their own arcs and what's going to happen with Pete Hegseth and over here is RFK Jr. and Musk. Trump is playing much more than he did in the first. In the first term, Trump was the only character of the Trump administration. Now he's playing a role that feels to me much more like the host. Like sometimes he comes out and somebody actually is voted off the island. It's like, well, Matt Gaetz is gone now, you know, or so-and-so is gone. People get fired, or he settles like the big plot of that week, right? He's going to side with Musk and Ramaswamy on H-1B visas, you know, or he comes in to announce a new plot like Greenland, right? He's not the only
for running a new competition.
He's not the only figure. He's the host, the decider, the something. Compared to other administrations, even compared to his first, this one is feeling programmed in a very different way. I mean, you're somebody obviously has to follow the plots and report on them night after night in the eternal purgatory that you are in.
There are worse fates.
Does that resonate for you?
It does resonate. I mean, yeah, you know, if you've ever talked to people in reality television, like they select it for people with very flawed personalities, borderline personality disorder, narcissism, because that produced conflict and conflict produced drama, and drama is, you know, conflict is what keeps attention.
And those people like attention.
Like, they're talking about streams, right? What do they select for? Narcissists, BPD? This is Lav and Mr. Girl right here.
Disorder, narcissism, because that produced conflict and conflict produced drama, and drama is, you know, conflict is what keeps attention.
And those people like attention. Not all of them, but the ones they pick, right?
Exactly.
You pick people on reality shows who like attention and are willing to absorb negative attention to be the star.
Exactly right. And you don't pick people who are just sort of like shy and go along to get along, right? Because what does that get you? So that model, I think, explains a lot about the personalities that are selected for in context of intense attentional competition. In terms of the programming, I totally agree, although I do think it's totally like instinctual for him. Like, I don't think it's that plotted out, but I do think fundamentally he thinks that you need to keep he needs the attention at all times. And he just has an intuitive sense of that. The Greenland thing's a perfect example. And there's been 1,000 of them in the first Trump administration. There'll be 1,000 more, which is like, what do you do with it? Like, is it attention getting to be like, the incoming president wants to take over Greenland? Like, yeah, it is. Is he serious? I don't know. Is it a good idea? No, it's not. Should we debate it? Should we talk about... I don't know, but we're all just now inside the attentional vortex.
You just have to keep in mind, though, right? Like, I'm making fun of Trump. I need to be more careful. I need to be more careful. I'm making fun of Trump because I don't like the way that he is, and I disagree with this on a moral level, and I disagree with this on an intellectual level. However, like, as I'm making fun of the way that, like, remember earlier I said if people were to email me like this, I would call them schizophrenic, right? The reality is that this is effective communication because it's bombastic and it's crazy and it is schizophrenic. And I don't want like a boring fucking bureaucrat posting messages about like, today we expect to tariff Canada and Mexico. We hope to see them cooperate with us on future border security. That's boring. This shit is funny and it's memey and it's exciting. And it's just, it's not just attention getting and that he's just tweeting or that he's just being out in front of you all the time. That he just has side characters. It's also that it's like, it's entertaining at the same time. Like all of this is like a form of entertainment.
Call it whatever you want, though. But it's crazy. This clarity here Destiny has. Yeah, it is attention getting. That's the reason why Donald Trump appeals to a lot of people is because he talks like a regular person. He's not just out there just giving up. Well, first of all, he's on social media and he truth socials. I don't know what they call it. He truths like a regular person. He's not just giving a formal little thing like, I come out here before you 70 years ago. He talks like a normal person, which is why a lot of people relate to him, which is why it works when he goes, even though he's a billionaire, he goes to the local McDonald's and everyone just goes up to him and gravitates to him and he's able to hold conversations because, yes, while he is a billionaire, he can still relate to the regular common person. He talks like a regular common person. One thing, though, that's ridiculous about what Destiny says is why he makes fun of Donald Trump is because he doesn't get along with them morally. Destiny, according to all the recent allegations that have come up against you, I don't think you're in any position to judge what anyone else does morally. Destiny is not exactly the most moral, upstanding person. So for him to judge Donald Trump or anybody about, well, I don't agree with him morally, that is just hilarious to me. LOL. But what do you think about Reasonable Destiny making an appearance tonight on this stream? What do you think's the cause of this? I'll allow you guys to speculate in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed today's clip. I would really appreciate it a lot. Smash that like button. And if you did enjoy today's clip, if you like seeing Destiny make a fool out of himself, I got a whole playlist for you to click away and binge on.